Lexus Navigation system. It has been working. Touch isn't working. The GPS is totally in the wrong place. I'm nowhere near a lake. I'm in some apartments. So nothing on it works. And this thing controls everything. So the AC's not. It's just an auto now. Just can't really program my stations. Can't do anything with the screen. So it's just worthless right now. And then Lexus wants $6,000 for a new one, or $2,000 for a refurbished one. Now I've read online a couple of different forums where it's somewhat of an easy fix if you know how to fix it. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to take those instructions and do the fix myself, and hopefully if this works out, it can help other people out with the same problem, where you're not just screwed because you can't do anything with this thing. So what we're going to do first is we're going to remove the navigation system, and I'll try to go through detail on how to do that. You will need a rag or something just to kind of protect this. I've done that before and didn't take my precautions, so scratch the wood there. We'll remove this. First thing we're going to do is we're going to remove these side panels. That'll allow us to get into the screws that are at the bottom of this, and then remove the vents here. Alright, so we'll start by removing these, and this isn't too bad. I've got these little and you just pull out forward. Now with one hand it's a little harder than I want it to be, so let's see. Okay. So just pull it out. And there you go. And then if we can kind of see in there, we'll see the bolts. Actually, I don't think I put them back on last time I took it off, just to make it easier to get this thing out of here, because I've already taken it off a couple of times. Put them down. I'm going to show you what this. See, that's regular. And so when you stick the screwdriver in there, that's all you do. And that's from the outside. So that's pretty much all you're doing. You're just clipping it down. And then you're going to let it go. So it's in the regular position. And it's in the removable position. So there we go. Okay, so you're going to have to wiggle it a little bit. It is, I started from the sides and just kind of pried it open from this side and this side. Now this tab is broken, so that's why I have to stick that in there. But then once you've gotten that out, just pull out. And I'll show you what I mean by those tabs. These little things right here. Hold on. You can get this thing, and then you'll have some cabling here, so you unplug that. Just simple. Push and pull, and then you hook it from there, and then you same thing right over here. Okay, and these are the other two bolts that we have. And actually, earlier I said there were 12. They're actually 10mm bolts. So we're just using a ratchet with an extension. And, just they're loose enough now where I could probably just do it. And then the next step will be just to cover up that wood, and then remove this, and then we'll start unplugging all the cables in the back. So we'll use this rag. Now, one of the things that I came to find with this, as far as removing this, it's probably a lot easier if you just kind of move this over down there. Just turn off the car, put your parking brake, that way it doesn't go anywhere. That'll allow you to get this thing out easily, because this thing's in the way. So, okay, so just like that, we're wiggling it out of the way, and it's just easy. Just pull it straight out. That's it. And then, as you can see, I've got this down here to kind of protect the wood because it is a tight spot. Alright, and in here it gives you a better look of what I meant that it was in the way. So as you can see, we've got it almost all the way pulled out, and so we've got the car right now in drive. We've got the emergency park and it's off, so it doesn't bother us. Parts, that's how you remove this. As we can see, we're going to turn on the vehicle, it still runs. Everything is just going to go back to the old settings that you had. You'll have those type of things come on, so, but still runs. AC is still on the last settings. Alrighty, so as you can see, this vehicle right now is running without the navigation system in. All we've got are just the check system, and we've got a low tire light on, so we'll get that fixed. But right now we're gonna just drive to where we're going, and we do have somebody coming with us here. It drives normal. The only difference is that we have no music or anything to keep us entertained. We've got the sounds of nature and whatever else is outside. But it does drive with that system out of the vehicle with no problems. Just wanted to do a short clip to show that. Everything else is working. Alright, so we're going to walk you through kind of the removing this particular portion. It was a little bit just kind of finding where the tabs are at and the screws to remove. So you've got a couple on the side. Let's see here. Okay, let me see if I can focus. Yeah, a little better. Okay, so you have one right here, and then you have your second one right down here. Both of these are a little bit larger than the bottom two, which you have one right at this section, and then the last one right over here. So they're going to be the only screws that you have. Then you have kind of where it hooks on right here. So you're gonna have to kind of move that aside. I just kind of bent it. You can bend it back, but it's got kind of like a like a hook where it holds onto there. So just kind of move it to the side and get it free there. Then you've got two at the top. Let's see here. Okay, so you've got one right there and then one right here. What I did was just grab the good old flathead, squeezed it in there, and pop them out of there, and then that pretty much just kind of moved out. Then you have two at the bottom, and I'm not okay. Yeah, so it's got right here. It's got a little lip at the bottom of it, and it hooks on right there. So just kind of same thing. Just push them out and just kind of pry it upward, and that releases that. And then you've got the middle section where it holds on right there. Same thing. Just move it out of the way and release it, and that releases that. So now what we have here is we're gonna have cables and wires that we're going to have to be careful that we don't rip apart. So what we'll do now is start getting those things disconnected and kind of give you a hint of where those are at and where to find them in here, so you don't have too much trouble. So just kind of give you a glimpse. It's the same screws on both sides. Those are the only screws you'll have to remove, so don't go digging too far in there. Okay, and I have them just kind of separate them as the top two and the bottom, top four and bottom four. Alright, so kind of what I've done with this is I'm just going to go ahead, because this pulls out with this whole section right here. So what I'm going to do is I've kind of just, once again, just bent this out a little bit to get down here, and let's see if I can get it to focus there. Okay, so what I've done is I used a little flathead and just kind of push this outward, and then once I pull that out, then this thing just kind of came right out. As you can see, it's just a tab that holds onto it at the bottom. I couldn't really think of another way of getting in there and removing this thing, so that's what I'm going to do right now. And same thing, all I did was just reach my flathead screwdriver right under here. Let me see if I can get it to zoom in. It's really difficult just with one hand. Okay, so right there, all I did was just reach in with the flathead and pull at the very edges of this. Pull one side down and then the other one, and it just popped right out. So at this point, this whole thing should just come up. Okay, and there we go. Voila.
So we've got this thing completely taken out of there. And there is our screen, and there is our problems right there. So now let's get in there and investigate what's wrong. So you've got one down there. Once again, you can reach it from the bottom. 2, and then 3 at this bottom right here. And then the 4th one right up here. So you've got 2 easy to reach and 2 at the bottom. Then once you've got that, you can easily remove these. There's a same thing. There's 4 screws that hold them there. I separate them all. I'm using my gun case to hold these screws. So you've got these 4 right here, and these are the ones at the bottom, or the ones that hold the whole unit there. Once you do that, you can lift this out of place, and then you can remove the ribbon cable in this one. What I did there, once you move it out of the way there, just use your flathead and just kind of same thing, ply from the sides, and then just kind of pull it all the way to the back, and you can just pull it out. That's how this one kind of comes out. And then this one right here, well, you've got a little kind of like a latch or a door. Just the cable's already out, but when it was in there, just pull that up, and then the cable just cleanly comes off. All right, so now that we've got that out, okay, then you remove these 4 bolts, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna lift this up because it holds on right there, and then this one, and then that comes straight up. So as you can see, once you lift that up, okay, there you go. See, it's kind of latches on right there. You see those little latches? Just pull on them and pull them up, and then they'll come out. And that reveals to our screen here. Now we're going to continue working on it. We've already removed all the stuff from there. Now this back portion we can also remove. This is easily, just literally pull it off. And then we're going to remove this ribbon cable right here, and according to our forum, this is where we're going to make all of the tests. So what we're going to do is we're just going to open that up, and then, okay, now that we opened her up, sorry, let me just pull that out. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and say that, as we can see there, there's no connection between those, so we're going to use that circuit rider pin to bridge that connection once again, and that could have been a number of reasons. Heat, bumpiness of the road. I've lowered mine, so it's definitely made it a little bit bumpier, and that could have definitely been a reason why the connection was broken. So we've chipped a little bit of the glass there. Alright, so one way that I kind of got us to chipping this is just by bringing down the blade in a downward motion. It seems to be cutting right through the glass. It's doing it very slowly, but it is getting it. Alright, what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and test these leads, these sections right here. So we'll call this one 1, 2, 3, and 4. So what we're going to do is we're going to test 1 and 3. We should have a reading, and according to the thing, it should be anywhere in the 1700 ohms, around there, 1500 to 1700, and from 2 and 4, it should be anywhere in the 5 to 700 ohms. So before we weren't getting any reading on it. It was reading just as it is, a blank screen. Now what we're going to do is we're going to test them. So like we said, we're going to do 1 and 3. Let me see if I can do this where you can still see. So we'll do 1 and 3. And there we go. We're getting some reading. And now we're going to do 2 and 4. And we're getting a reading. So there we go. We have successfully gotten the connection to go through using the little magical pen here. And so that is how we get this thing fixed up. And so just to double check, because obviously the signal doesn't start there, the signal comes from all the way down here. So we're going to go ahead and test it from all the way down here to see if we can get some reading off of it. Same thing, this is just going to be a little harder since I only have one pair of hands here. And so we're going to see if I can get something to register there. So we're going to do, we've got one, and there we go. Alright, so now that we've got our resistance readings, everything is reading correctly, we're good to go. Now we'll just go ahead and put this back together, and I'm going to put some sort of a non-conductive coating on it to protect it. I'm probably going to run just a couple of more dabs of this on it just to make sure. I put in very small amounts, just very small layers of it. I'm just going to rub some more. We know that we've got it working, so we know we're in the right track. It's just a matter of making sure that everything works perfectly on it. So we'll continue this and then we'll show you the final result. Alright, so going through here, we're going to just add a couple more just to kind of make sure that we get everything nice and clean in there. We turn on the lights and we'll try to keep the magnifying lights out of the way. So we're just basically just dabbing this at the very tip of it and just applying it where it needs it. Alright, what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and mask this off with some sort of what I'm going to use is some of the Plasti Dip to kind of cover that up, just so that it doesn't get ruined. So I'm going to use this little utensil I have, and I'm going to just rub a little bit on that. And then as well in the process, what we'll do now is we'll continuously check to see that we still have a reading on that. So I'll put the good old voltmeter there, and then we'll let's see if we can get some sort of a response from this. Okay, so here we're going to have it hooked up to the first and third. Let's see if we can get something out of it. Hold on, it's just so darn difficult with one hand. This requires talent. Alright, so we got it reading where we need to. It's all sealed up. Now the last thing to do is get it installed. Put all this back together. And we'll kind of work in a reverse order in putting all this back together, given that I haven't misplaced anything. And then I guess the last thing I'll do is I'll show you what I used and what made this a little easier. But if it works out, then we've just saved ourselves quite a bit of money. Alright, so we're going to start putting all this thing back together and just kind of weigh our way backwards and see if we can get this thing back in. Alrighty, so we've got this thing plugged in, and let's check it out. Yeah. Let's see. Now we're talking. Click on all the radio stations. I just reprogrammed it, but we'll just see. Everything here works. As we can see, it's all been fixed. So there we go. I hope this helps other people with having this issue. Now just time to now I gotta enter everything back again and all that good stuff, but it is working. So there we go. Let's see. Definitely not. We'll work on that later. Before, you would press on it and it would keep going to the left. No matter what you pressed, it would go to the left, and then it just stopped working completely. Now it works. Alright, there we go.